bardzo serdecznie dziękuję.
First of all, I'd like to thank you very heartily for your invitation to today's meeting with the local government people. This is a very important initiative, and I'd like to thank Mr. Marshal for it. The talks and that has started in this Rzeszów's modern conference center has got a very important dimension not only to the Polish local government, but also to the changes and amendments introduced and implemented by the Polish government. I'm very happy that we can talk about reforms that are going on, that have been started, and also those that are ahead of us. Also, I'm happy that we can talk about the future of the local government. The government, the cabinet of the Law and Order Party, Law and Justice Party, are intended, in our opinion and from our point of view, at making Poland a better place and more just place. So that's why we've come up with a development of the Responsible Development Program. The program that's going to be implemented and which an ambitious plan which is going to influence, to stimulate the regions that now are grappling with economic problems related to the speed of development. Also, this is a program that offers a chance for development, for further development of the regions that are doing fine at the moment. This plan was born predominantly due to the voices of the Polish people that we heard during the election campaign. We were traveling all over Poland, we were meeting people, and it is at that time that different ideas and different projects came to surface. Obviously, at that time also the voices articulated and referred to certain problems. So the aspects of our reality that we must change and we are going to change. We are going to change aspects of our reality. That's why the plan and the project of responsible development has been developed. The plan related to the plan of Deputy Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, also with the participation of Mr. Kwieciński. Obviously, we do realize that any plan is just a plan, it's a piece of paper. The plan is brought into life once it starts bringing particular, palpable, tangible results. And we hope that this is what is happening at the moment. It's been a year now since we have been implementing a number of ambitious projects which will change the face of Poland, and we hope that there are going to be more and more of such programs. Obviously, this must be going on with the participation of the local government, because it's the local government that's the host of a local territory, local area. So this is one of the dimensions of today's meeting. Another dimension is obviously the European meeting, the European agenda. The presence of President Markkulla makes it possible to discuss the subjects of the ongoing discussion and reform and the changes and the directions of the change in Europe. There are different concepts, opinions and ideas. For example, I heard them on yesterday's meeting on Malta. There's no doubt that the European Union is facing a period of change, a period of reform and reflection on what must be done and how these changes must be introduced. That's what we need to do for the idea which underlined the very foundation of the European Union, how this idea can and may and should in fact be implemented for all the member countries to have all the member states to have the same status, to have the same chances to articulate their voice. This is a democracy. We don't have to see eye to eye as far as all the aspects are concerned. But this is important to discuss, to keep talking, and to focus on the things dear to the hearts of men in the street, of people in the street. And this is the task of the local government, because it's the local governments that care after the small communities, after the local communities. They are thinking about what to do, how to facilitate progress, what to do to enhance the standing of a given locality in terms of jobs, in terms of accommodation, in terms of the quality of and standard of living. If we once we ensure that all these aspects and elements are in place, once we do it, then we can talk about further on change, and that's why we are attempting to introduce the systematic change. I believe that ahead of us, what is ahead of us, is a good period of work, a good time for local government. Now we are talking about 2 terms, about the principle of only 2 terms allowed for a local government leader. Well, on the one hand, we might say that there are those who say that there's no need for introducing such solutions, that the system at the present moment is good enough. Well, these people what they say is these are voices uttered from the point of view of the positions they currently held. But we should not think about individual positions, individual jobs, but we must think about local communities and the benefits of the local communities. We should avoid and prevent a local system of cronyism and people who create a sort of cemented establishment. We should open local governments to young people with ideas, with bright heads, with open minds, who are full of energy and have bright ideas. But we must not forget about one thing. Local government people are people of great experience, usually of great experience, of great talent, and the expertise, the knowledge and the experience should be put to great use. Such people are very much needed, not only in local government, but also on a higher level of local, regional, or even central government. I think that this constitutes another dimension of this discussion, namely to show new perspectives for the people who gain experience in local government. But this experience that they gain is very important to the chances of the development of the whole country. Once again, I'm very happy, and I'd like to congratulate all of you that this conference is being held here in the Podkarpackie region, in the area and the place which is a living example of how well we can take advantage of the chances and opportunities related to sustainable development, and what we can do about this development as long as we know.
Thank you very much. And as I said there, it's great to be here, and now especially having a chance for the dialogue with your Prime Minister along in front of the public people, in front of the media, but especially on the locally elected representatives. I have 3 key messages here on this for you at the press. The first part is the future of Europe, why we are holding this debating here. The second part is the future of Europe needs a strong local democracy. And my third message is definitely about the renewal. So the future of Europe needs better investment and better legislation. So I'll have a few ideas on that. But first, the future of Europe and this debating. I think that the first strong message on that is that European Union was built first and foremost to serve all of its citizens. And there we have a lot to do. Yet Brexit, as a result of the British referendum and the growth of populist anti-EU movements in Europe, show that serious questions are being asked the purpose and its future, so meaning EU. This is why I'm here today to talk about the future of Europe, to listen and to be ready to implement some of the results coming from here as well. It's clear that EU must listen more and better respond to the needs of all EU citizens. It's a complicated situation since in different parts of Europe, citizens, different groups of citizens, they have different needs and they have different cultural backgrounds and so on. So it makes a bit complicated and challenging, but it's why we have Europe, EU, and that's why we are ready to work on that. This is why we are holding this debate today, to reach out to citizens and to speak of this issue, if and what the EU can do to improve people's daily life. Not just on a long term, but short term, but then building the future to be based more on human capital. This today is one of the series of debating which will contribute to our Committee of the Regions resolution on the 60th anniversary of the Treaty of Rome, but also a report asked by the European Council from us. So what can we do, what the local actors, local mayors, elected representatives can do for reflecting with the citizens and making Europe through that a concretely challenge, tackling the societal challenges, answering to the requests and needs of the citizens. We want regional parliaments, regional government boards to hold debates on Europe and report back ahead the European elections as well. We, representing all parts of Europe, really with the local members, regional members who are daily working on these needs, so we can be an instrument on this. Committee of the Region, we can say that nowadays, today we have, in the Changing Europe, we have three major tasks. One is officially influencing through our opinions on the work of European Parliament, Commission and the Council. The second part is developing better the European mindset to react and respond, as an example, to the needs of young people in their daily lives to get jobs, to be employed or start their own businesses, to serve not only themselves but their fellow citizens, their families and the rest. And the third point is then that our role more and more now after the British referendum is to serve our members, take their best ideas, jointly develop them further through the European partnerships and move ahead this for the European policy. The second of my message is the future of Europe needs strong local democracy. Our regions and cities, the local democracy, are the heart of Europe. Devolution and regional and local institutions have a key contribution to reducing social and economic disparities between Europe's regions and people. This can slow the exodus of people from poor regions to big cities. Good local and regional governance brings EU policy closer to the people. It demonstrates the real added value local and regional democracy has. It promotes transparency and drives democracy. Devolved governance has many advantages: understanding people's needs, the development of policies to foster sustainable and competitive growth. Where this action towards sustainable development, we very much strongly agree with your Prime Minister. Spending the EU funds must comply with the principle of multi-level governance in order to meet the real needs of people at the ground and from the bottom up. And this brings the third of my main challenges. The future of Europe needs better investment and better legislation, renewal policy. The EU needs a strong Poland, that's for sure. By successfully delivering structural funds, we can rebuild trust in European project. But it is visible even in Poland that not the whole society appreciates the achievements of the EU and struggle with the daily life. So we need the renewal, an important target. Funds in Poland do seem to be making a big difference. It shows that EU can deliver. When I landed earlier today at Rzeszów Airport, I can see the EU funds are being spent to support communities, local development and businesses. In your region, Podkarpackie, during this 7-year program period, around a bit more than 2 billion euros has been committed for this development. Poland was allocated 86 billion euros from the EU cohesion funding for this 7-year program period. And that means a lot that can be done with this, but we are convinced that it's more and more as well through the European partnerships with the other regions who have share the same interests on targeted activities, like now in the aviation industry. The opinions of local and regional governments matter more today than ever before. For the European Committee of the Regions, we want a stronger territorial dimension of EU legislation, a simple and more connected Europe and better spending. We need smart public and private investments in cities and regions and rural areas. And this means that to make the EU work, we need stronger coordination at the top level between the member states, coupled with the solidarity and sound subsidiarity, mean the local level and more from the bottom up, as we want this to be the future of Europe. More bottom-up activities, more bottom-up movements, so we can do much more for the needs of our citizens. Thank you very much.
Prime Minister, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much that another important event is taking place here in the Podkarpackie region, at this venue. We are surrounded by the special economic zone, where the special technology park. This is the place which bears the mark of the EU funding, of the EU assistance. We are very happy that we can be talking about the future of the local government, that we can talk about the good practice that are being implemented in local government. I think that also very important is the discussion about the future of the European Union and what the role of the local government in the Committee of the Region is. Also how we can influence the further development of the European Union. I do believe that this good practice or good practices that we can see here, if we just glance our eyes around, this very center, Congress and Exhibition Center, local businesses in the vicinity of the airport. This is a token of how well regions can be taking advantage of the available EU funding. So once again, I'd like to thank you very much for the possibility of this debate going on here today.